right, Nick, the NFL's most notorious team, the New England Patriots, are back in business. Training camp has started up for the Pats. There's a lot of exciting stuff going around. And Bill Belichick has talked about a couple players by name more than I think he's ever done before. It's a very interesting story we have coming up. But before we get into this, we, as always, have partnered with one of our favorite sponsors here, Ultra Game NFL, and they are willing to give our fans you some sweet merch. I promise you, it is some of the highest quality merch I've ever gotten. To enter this giveaway, though, leave us a comment below. Tell us how you think the Patriots training camp has been going so far. Is it good? Is it bad? Just leave us a comment in the description below, and then stay tuned to the end of the video to get all the details on how to enter this giveaway. Once again, thank you to NFL Ultra Game. But Nick, give us a little more on this story.
Yeah, so Bill Belichick is known to be one of the, I'll call it one of the not most media-friendly guys when it comes to talking about his players. When he gives any sort of interviews or discussions with the media, he keeps things very close to the chest. So that's why he's made his recent comments about none other than Mac Jones very interesting. So he was talking to Phil Perry of NBC Sports Boston, and this was what Belichick said, talking about Mac Jones here. His physical work and conditioning, working on his mechanics, working on his footwork, working on his understanding of our offense and opposing defenses, he's made tremendous strides. He did a great job last year, but he's starting from a much higher point. All right, Maya, so this is Bill Belichick. This is a guy who's, known to keep things very calm. He's been known to be very tough on his players all week long, kind of tries to keep their egos down, doesn't really hype them up. He's known more for hyping up teams they play when their opposing teams are like 1-13 than he is talking about his own players. What do you think of Belichick here, saying such big praise to Mac Jones?
Well, obviously, it's apparent when you look at Mac Jones. You can tell he's kind of been putting in the work. He's been doing what he needs to do this offseason. He looks like a completely different guy. More or less. But I like how you say that, because I always remember Belichick, the guys that he'll pump up is like, he'll talk about a special teams guy or like a long snapper, like how great they are on like a horrible team. And we all know that he's just doing it, maybe just because of love of the game. He does a little bit of research there. But he hardly ever talks about his own guys. He's more of like a stern father who, gives you a look of acknowledgement, and that'll last you for the rest of the month. But for this praise from Mac Jones, it has to feel good because he does not do this often, and it's not to be taken lightly. I think this is pretty high praise for Mac Jones, and the rest of the league should kind of take notice because Belichick doesn't really go out and give you any kind of foreshadowing of the team to let you know where they've improved, where they've not improved. So Mac Jones must be looking like considerably better overall as a player.
Yeah, I think what you hit there is actually what's going on here. We said the rest of the league should take notice. We talked about when the Patriots traded N'Keal Harry to the Chicago Bears a little while ago, that this was probably just the first move in a number of moves, right? We talked about maybe Nelson Aguilar being traded or maybe somebody else next. What I think Bill Belichick is doing here, I'm going to assume Bill Belichick's doing another Jedi mind trick on the rest of the NFL. When you're trying to get a veteran skill player, I'm looking at a guy like Odell Beckham Jr. You want a guy like that wants to play with a quarterback he thinks is elite, right? He just came from Matt Stafford. They just won a championship there. He doesn't want to go and play with another Baker Mayfield like he had in Cleveland for a number of years. So what does Belichick do here? He hypes up Mac Jones. Belichick never hypes up anybody. If he hypes up Mac Jones, I mean, to his credit, Mac Jones is much more in better shape, looks great. He looks like he's going to make big strides. But for Belichick to come out and hype him up like this, I think he's trying to entice some of these available free agents to say, hey, come over to the Patriots for cheap because we've got a special young quarterback here in Mac Jones.
That's very interesting. Some people may think that our show's scripted or something like that, but no, we shoot from the hip, and I haven't heard you say that yet, and that's really interesting. It's got me thinking, is Belichick, Mac Jones obviously has improved, but is he gassing Mac Jones up to attract some offensive players over to the Patriots side? That's a really interesting concept here, and that's something that he would do, and there's a couple of guys floating around out there. There's a few trade options that we've gone over for other teams, obviously. Debo's deal hasn't been completed yet. DK Metcalf seems kind of unhappy in a rebuilding offense. Odell Beckham is still floating around out there as a free agent. So those are some guys that could maybe be tempted over to the Patriots side of the ball. It's a really interesting concept to think about. All right, Nick, everyone's made it to the end of the video, and I'm sure they want some NFL merch just like this, fit to be out on the field for training camp as we go right now. This is some excellent, high-quality NFL merch. I love it, and I wear it all the time. And brought to you none other by our partner, Ultra Game NFL. And they want to give away some of this awesome merch to you, the fans. I'm going to tell you exactly how you can enter that giveaway. First, leave us a like on the video. Second, leave us a comment. Tell us how the training camps have been going so far. Very easy. Third, and finally, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go find Ultra Game NFL's YouTube channel and subscribe to them. Better yet, I'll leave the link in the description below. You can check that out. And while they're there, Nick, what else can they do?
Yeah, listen, this merch is too good. You can't leave it up to a giveaway. You got to check out our affiliate link in the description box below. It'll take you right to the Amazon Ultra Game NFL store, so that way you can get all the awesome Ultra Game gear to support the team you love. It's training camp. Now's the time to get your gear for the season. Check out our link below in the description box.